Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something that can feel incredibly confusing and, frankly, really isolating. We're diving into trauma bonding, that powerful and often painful connection that can form in really unhealthy relationships. Our whole goal here is to replace some of that confusion with clarity and any self-blame with some genuine understanding. You know, this is the question at the heart of it all, isn't it? It's a question people ask themselves, often filled with a lot of frustration or even shame. You might know on a logical level that a situation is not good for you, but you feel this overwhelming pull to stay. It can honestly feel like you're fighting a battle against yourself. And this is so important to get right from the very start. That feeling, that struggle, it is not a sign of weakness. It is not a flaw in your character. It is a well-documented and totally predictable psychological response to a very specific and very difficult set of circumstances. Okay, so let's get into what that means. All right, so first, let's put a name to this invisible force, this powerful connection that's really at the center of the whole experience. So what is a trauma bond? Well, at its core, it's an attachment that happens when someone puts you through this recurring cycle of mistreatment and then follows it up with sudden kindness or some kind of reward. But here's the crucial part. It's a survival strategy. Your brain is just trying to adapt and survive in a really tough environment. It's a coping mechanism, not a conscious choice.
Now, what I find so powerful about this quote is the language it uses. The sources we're looking at really emphasize that this bond isn't some accident. That word engineered is so key. It highlights that the whole dynamic is often built on purpose to create dependency, which immediately shifts the focus away from any kind of blame on the person who's going through it.
At the heart of this engineered bond is a really powerful conditioning mechanism, one that can feel just as compelling, just as real as any other kind of addiction. This mechanism is called intermittent reinforcement. Here's a simple way to think about it. A slot machine is way more addictive than a vending machine, right? And why is that? Because the reward is unpredictable. In a healthy relationship, kindness is pretty consistent, but in a trauma bond, kindness is intermittent. It's all mixed up with cruelty, and that creates this wild cycle of intense highs and lows. Your brain gets hooked, literally hooked, on waiting for that unpredictable high of kindness to come back after a low period. And this isn't just a theory, it's a real lived experience. The research just confirms what survivors have been saying for a long time, that this up and down cycle feels intensely addictive. And that feeling isn't just a side effect, it's actually a core part of how the bond gets stronger. So let's look at how that actually happens. So on top of that addictive cycle, there are other specific behaviors and even personal vulnerabilities that can make these bonds even stronger. You know, it's really important to understand the different dynamics that can fuel this. For instance, love bombing can look like this incredible whirlwind romance with amazing gifts and huge promises, all designed to get you hooked. It's a tactic of control. Affection flooding, though, that can look similar on the surface, but comes from a different place. That might be a partner who constantly needs reassurance and does everything for you, not to control you, but because their own self-worth really depends on your approval. Knowing the root cause can bring a lot of clarity.
There are several other things that can really deepen the bond. Coercive control is a huge one. That's a pattern of behavior that just slowly chips away at your freedom and your sense of who you are. A survivor's own empathy, their good nature, can actually be used against them to excuse the partner's actions. And of course, our own personal histories, especially any past trauma, can make us more vulnerable to these dynamics. And finally, just that basic human need for answers, for closure, can keep us stuck, just hoping that one day things will finally make sense.
Okay, now let's look at what's happening on a biological level, because this isn't just an idea in your head, it's actually going on in your brain chemistry. You can think of it like a powerful neurochemical cocktail. So during that idealization phase, your brain is just flooded with dopamine. That's the reward chemical, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You feel incredible. Then, during the devaluation part, your system is just spiked with stress hormones like cortisol. But the most potent part of this whole thing is the reconciliation. When the kindness comes back after all that cruelty, it doesn't just feel good, it triggers a massive dopamine surge that powerfully reinforces the attachment. It literally creates a physiological dependency. So what this all means is that it creates this profound internal tug of war. Your logical brain might be screaming, "Get out, this is unhealthy," but your brain's reward system is screaming back, "I need that dopamine hit to feel okay." This isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological addiction. And that biological pull is so real, and it explains why it can feel so physically and emotionally painful to even think about leaving. So just understanding the mechanics of this bond, that is a huge first step. But here's the most hopeful part of all. Because this is a learned response, it can be unlearned. So let's talk about the path toward healing and how to start regaining your balance. The journey out really begins with some gentle internal work. First, just developing self-awareness, which just means noticing the patterns without judging yourself for them. Next is actively practicing self-compassion. This means challenging those self-critical thoughts and treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a dear friend. And finally, intentionally building your self-esteem from the inside out by celebrating your own small wins and reminding yourself that your worth is not and never was up for debate. And this is just such a critical point to remember. There can be so much pressure, either from ourselves or from others, to just leave. But as this quote shows so well, it's not a single event. It's a journey. It's a long, complex process that takes time, patience, and a whole network of support to navigate safely. So we'll end with this question for you to think about. By seeing trauma bonding not as a personal failure, but as a completely understandable survival response, how can we offer more compassion to ourselves for everything we've been through, and to others who might be in the middle of a struggle that maybe we now understand a little bit better? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.